This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here today. So, Ripple IPO watch, nothing on the books as of yet, but trust me, we are keeping an eye on it. And I believe, just to let you know, with the recent announcement of the XRP Ledger nonprofit foundation that's been launched, I think that was a huge signal to me that not only is Ripple probably on their way to IPOing, which Brad Garlinghouse has suggested that they would like to do since last January over the next 12 months, potentially. I think aside from having a signal of that nonprofit foundation being launched for the Ledger, signaling an IPO for Ripple, I also believe it is the path of the XRP Ledger to eventually become a public good like the protocols of the internet that we currently use. All right, with that being said, let me go ahead and just bring up here really quickly a couple cool cryptos. The numbers are brought to you this morning by Unstoppable Domains, and Bill Sharp has magicshop.crypto. I thought that was a really, really great name. Now here's a couple from Nathan Stone, who has Delaware Beaches, Rehoboth Beach DE for Delaware .crypto, Go Birds, Eagles-fan.crypto, DieHardEagles.crypto, and a couple others, and that is Nathan Stone. So shout out to both of you. And I try to use people who've got .cryptos that I feel are creative, that have no concern for trademark infringement. So congratulations to you guys. I think those are great names. There's a link for Unstoppable Domains and many other products that you may or may not need. Make sure you check them out and click on the one that you need for the best deal. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. All right, so today, looking at a little news on the front end just to show you that the market is absolutely going in the right direction, regardless of what the reflection of the price is today on numbers. And matter of fact, what am I doing? We got to do the price. We got to do the numbers. Let's do the numbers really quickly. So here it is. Bitcoin is currently $10,905, working its way back up this morning. Ethereum, $363.38, and XRP is 24 cents. Let's drill down the XRP numbers. 0.2454 for the numbers this morning on XRP. 24-hour volume is 2.5%, and we are 1.3 billion on a 24-hour. Total market cap is 11 billion plus, and the circulating supply is sitting at 45 billion, 97 million plus. Those are your numbers. Okay, let's get into this. So Michael Val 5 links in the last week. Grayscale Investments have accumulated an additional 17,100 BTC. This adds to its already impressive Bitcoin holdings that are currently valued at approximately 4.8 billion. Grayscale, shout out to Barry Silbert for getting it done. One of the people that I watch closely in this space is Barry Silbert. September 25th update, net assets under management, known as or AUM, right? Holdings per share, market cap per price share for our investment products, 5.8 billion. Whoa. I think it's turning into a thing. When I look at this stuff, I look at these investment groups like Grayscale, and I say to myself, and this is not financial advice, obviously, it's my perspective on the space. And one of the parameters and things that I look at to try to keep an eye on what's going on, I see a trend. I see a trend of people steady putting their money in a place that they consider to be a hedge against inflation. So, as well as just new tech and the growth and the possibilities of that new tech by investing in those funds. So, okay, so let's get on to this. Another one from Michael Val 5 links, and shout out to everybody, XRP Crypto Wolf, Jesus Torero, and everybody else that sends information. Reading between the lines, acceptance is one thing, support is another. The OCC is signaling to banks that stablecoin activity is legitimate and that reserves accounts will be offered the same federal protection as any other. Well said. Well said. And we know that obviously the OCC released they can hold reserves to the federally chartered banks for stablecoin issuers. We know that they also in July put out that you can custody digital assets. And then that brings us to a question here where we're talking about the digital dollar. This would be more along the line of CBDCs, right? A sovereign currency launched as a digital token or a digital dollar form would be a CBDC. More importantly, Mester from the Federal Reserve, one of the Federal Reserves, also stated that the digital dollar wouldn't be anonymous like cash. Oh, don't say. It would allow the Fed to monitor the activities of its citizens and also enable the bank to exercise arbitrary control by freezing accounts of individuals. Well, an ugly truth. As we move into this digital age, as we move into this innovation and Cambrian explosion of all this amazing technology that brings us together by the push of a button, so brings this. With the pros come the cons, and this is one of them. I've never not been aware of this aspect of where we're going. In large part, a lot of people feel this way about XRP because they've worked so closely within the system, the governments, the central banks, and the financial regulators, and the like. And I have to say, that has been the appeal for me, even though the libertarian in me cringes. I realized, like Jay Clayton has said from the SEC when his time there, and what he said in a congressional hearing, we have to embrace the technology, because if we don't, it will innovate around us. That's the bottom line. So there it is. All right, now we're going to take a look at a great diagram, by the way, before we get out of here, because I want to ask each and every one of you a question, and I am dying for the answer. So, latest digital dollar proposal spells trouble for commercial banks, private citizens. It goes on further to talk about the ability to freeze those accounts and whatnot. I'm not going to read you the whole article. You get the gist of it. There's pros and there's cons. And once they release this digital dollar, you're hearing a conversation from Loretta Mester from the Cleveland Federal Reserve Bank clearly discuss the idea that they could freeze those assets if they need to. Well, of course, that happens to be on their pro list, not their con list. See, that's what's interesting about this. Depending on what side of the table you sit on, that's on a pro list, not the con list. On my side of the table, that's a con. But I digress. Anyway, moving on. World Economic Forum names XRP as crypto asset most relevant in central bank digital currency space. If you have been following this channel for any length of time, I have been running this PDF and this bit of news up the flagpole since January, the World Economic Forum meeting that happened that Brad Garlinghouse attended, and the central bank digital currency policy toolmaker kit was released. This is that document. I have shown it many, many times. And on page 17, I've got it embedded in my mind. We see exactly what the article says, which is an examples of design for payments interbank settlement solutions is absolutely, and I have the ability to do this for you. So I will do this, and you see right here, JPM Coin XRP, crypto assets designed for inter and interbank payments and settlement. We have been talking about this for over, 9 months, since January. What I find really, really interesting about this is that I understand this. I learned this from Mickey B. Fresh. Shout out to him. And we will have him back on the show very soon. We intended to do it last week, but just, time gets away from all of us and it's hard to get everybody's schedules together. So the World Economic Forum is interesting because, obviously it's the World Economic Forum. All the biggest players in the world get together. But Sheila Warren is going to be a keynote speaker. She's the head of blockchain and digital assets teams at the World Economic Forum. Interesting enough, Sheila Warren, as I learned from Mickey B. Fresh, is the person who drafted this document. I'm sorry, it just makes me giddy. Oh, goodness. It's such a stacked deck. Anyway, I take you back to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, who made the rule effective July 21st, about the idea on page 40, because that's burned into my brain too. And let's go ahead and get there for you. See the good stuff. No need to make you read it all. I've already done it. So the reality is that we want to take you right to it. And I've showed this the other day, and I've showed it many times actually when it came out as well. But it all leads to a question that I want to ask you today. And it shows Swift GPI, innovation to tracking products. And it shows Ripple and XRP to affect settlement in their effective rule from July 21st, 2020, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You must understand, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is a bureau that goes after you when you do fraudulent stuff. They're citing in this document that these two solutions are the answer to finally bringing transparency to cross-border settlements for banks and credit unions across the world. There it is. So let me ask you a question, because now it's time to really get some audience participation here. This is what we have on the international and domestic level here. And I just grabbed a few things. There's more stuff. We could go into the G20 and the FSB and the FATF. But for today, World Economic Forum recommends settlement between central banks. The International Monetary Fund put out a PDF that we covered here with Mickey B. Fresh and myself, recommends XRP for cross-border settlement, suggests even that FSOC, a regulatory body connected to the Treasury, the Financial Stability Oversight Council, can deem SIFMU or SIFME, which is systemically important financial market utility or systemically important financial market infrastructure for RippleNet, which could be used for cross-border payment settlement and on-demand liquidity. Then we had recently here, the Securities Exchange Commission just recently came out and just issued a no-action letter for security tokens. We're going to come back to that one here in a second. 2 letters issued for federally chartered banks, custody crypto, and to hold reserves for stablecoins. We're going to touch on that too. And as we just covered here, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is effective rule July 21st, 2020, Swift GPI and Ripple XRP can be used to affect settlement for banks and credit unions for cross-border payments. Now, okay, my question to you guys is, first of all, what else do we need to see? What else do we need to happen for this to become something that starts to happen daily? What do we need? What is left? What hammer needs to fall for XRP to begin being used as that settlement solution for cross-border payments for banks and credit unions? Now, coming back to the just issued a no-action letter for security tokens here from the Security Exchange Commission, SEC. First of all, XRP, whether it's been a security or not, it's been a narrative that's been perpetrated on top of this community for a long time. I have never believed that XRP is a security. However, it almost doesn't matter. It's a moot point at this juncture, because the SEC has said we're not taking any action for security tokens anyway. So even if you believe that, you don't have to worry about it anymore, because it's a non-issue now. Here's the other thing. The other thing for me out of this is simply this. Security tokens are digital securities. It is when you convert something into digital form that was a security, like a stock, a share, a bond, right? Tokenized real estate would be a security token. It seems to me that this has just opened the floodgates for the entire world, the New York Stock Exchange, for instance, and other exchanges around the world, to begin to tokenize every stock on the planet so it can be placed on the distributed ledger technology system, or the XRP ledger, and begin to have sales on those products. Fractional buying, whole units, whole shares, the whole bit. It seems to me that that door has just been opened. And knowing that in conjunction with that, the OCC has issued that banks can custody crypto, and knowing that they also just issued that banks can also hold reserves for stable coins, it seems to me that we've just set it up so the masses, who are not speculators and retail investors as you and I are, can begin to go to their bank at some point, not too distant future from now, and participate by having a way to get into the market directly through their bank or through a third party that your bank will connect with, and allow you to participate in buying things. And also, if you look at the Securities Exchange Commission about the no action letter for security tokens, now traditional brokers should be just about on the edge of being able to make their way into this market now and to begin to offer their clients and their portfolios the ability to buy fractionalized stocks instead of a whole share of Amazon or a whole share of Tesla or Apple, which some people can't afford one whole share of those. They're very expensive stocks. But hey, if I could put 50 or $100 in there each week or month or whatever and start to build up what I'm looking to do, now you're talking about getting the best of both worlds, where you take the best attributes of this digital world and bring that converge that with the traditional market structure. And what you really get is a brand new system and a facelift to the traditional trading markets like NASDAQ and NYSE and other trading platforms around the world, right? So to me, I have to ask the question, what is left? What is left to do? What else do we need to see? Does this really come down to just a classification, a designation of XRP at this point? Or do we technically already have what we need for this thing to take off and go? And if that's the case, then why hasn't it? All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. I will catch all of you on the next one.